Hey, everybody, welcome back to Pro AV today. Just breathe in. It's that time of year again, trade show season. You can almost hear the last minute booth hammering happening and the insoles sliding into the shoes. It's, you know what, it's time. It's time. And the unofficial kickoff, in my opinion, of trade show season, at least here in the States, is the E4 Expo that Exertus Alamo puts on every single year. This year starting out in Dallas, which I'm biased because I'm in Dallas. Really easy trip for me. But look, E4 is one of the most incredible regional shows and local shows that we have in the industry, because not only do people who may not historically have access to, look at products or touch and feel products or ask questions from manufacturers, they have a chance to do that, but there's incredible thought leadership that's happening, education that's happening. So without further ado, it's time for our annual guest segment with Melody Craigmyle. Melody, thanks so much for coming back on the show today.
Thanks, Ben. And, I don't usually wear hats when I do these interviews, but I will say this is the 14th year for the E4. And I was thinking back today and I was like, wow, I wonder if I still have that hat from E4 in Dallas 10 years ago. So usually can't find this stuff, but lo and behold, here it is. And there it is. It's exclusive for you, Ben.
Look, I appreciate that. And us Texans, we will gladly welcome all the cowboy hats we can get down at the show. I might just crack mine out too. Who knows? I mean, it's people think of it as a party trick, but I really enjoy wearing cowboy hats. So we'll see if we can pull it out.
I'm a hat girl. I'm from Kentucky, so we love our hats.
Yes. Well, there you go. There you go. It's, a hat is a great accessory to have down here in Texas for a number of reasons, fashion being one of those as well, which you're obviously crushing the game today. But hey, look, Melody, this is, I think, the third or fourth time we've had this conversation. If I remember correctly, the first time we had it, which was probably 3 or so years ago, really kind of at the pivot of the pandemic, we talked a lot about the resurgence of the regional, the local event. And look, we'll just take credit for it. We'll say that it was us who brought it back. But E4 honestly has led that charge. And now you're seeing success 3-4 years later. Talk about some of the ways that you guys have seen growth, especially post-pandemic with the show.
It's a combination of a lot of things. It's great partners that, always have believed in the show and believed in the merit of it. We've got great instructors, who are bringing the best and brightest curriculum to the industry that's CTS certified. We've got great product on the exhibit hall floor. And then, we talk a lot about the education and the expo, and we want to talk more about exchange, which is one of the other E4s, about networking. And I think now more than ever, since we've kind of all been locked away and, maybe we're working half remotely or whatever, people are really craving that in-person interaction. And, that's what we've really brought to these local markets that we're coming to is, come out, see your friends, make a new friend, network. There's great opportunities. Either that's maybe finding a new line, a new product line, or a new consultant or somebody to help you with your business. There's just a myriad of things that you never know what's going to happen at an E4. It's just there's a lot of energy. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of manufacturers, and we're just kind of bringing that all together in one day.
Well, I love that you talk about that idea of exchange, right? And obviously there's more than one E4 show. I think there's 4, if I'm not mistaken, each year. Is it correct?
Yes.
Perfect. But it gives people an opportunity, maybe it's locally, maybe it's regionally, to make a lot of these connections that otherwise they might not be able to, right? There are some people obviously in the industry who don't get to attend the Infocoms of the world, certainly the ISEs of the world, especially here in the States. It's a great chance to say I just did an installation in a church or something like that. It's a great opportunity really to connect with the manufacturer, connect with the integrator partner. What are some of the ways that you're seeing people exchanging ideas and networking at these events this year?
Well, it's a very broad spectrum. I mean, one of the things that we did in Boston last year, and we're going to bring it here, is we're doing a panel discussion on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And the following day of the E4 just happens to be International Women's Day. So we want to open up this dialogue and like on just a very fundamental level. What does that mean? How can you start a dialogue within your own company or within your, local, Avixa Women's Council or whatever that might be about, how do we help move the agenda forward with diversity in our industry? And I know that when we did it in Boston, it was a very lively conversation. It was lots of good interaction and, people even, sending me messages on LinkedIn afterwards, like, can we keep this going? I was just very encouraged by that. And then, kind of go to the other end of the spectrum. And, we've now introduced a happy hour that we're going to have at the end. And, it's a casual setting. It's just a way to people just to make a connection or, just maybe somebody's looking for a job. Maybe somebody is, trying to understand what the AV industry is about. Is this something I want to get into? And we're just trying to foster those areas of connection that we have that opportunity with the E4.
Well, look, the I in DEI is inclusion, right? And that means not only all ages, all types, all thought processes. But one of the things that I've really dedicated myself to this year is to focus a little bit more on the newcomers and what I'll call the 101s in the industry, right? And that's one of the things, and I'll commend you guys on this too, that you've done a fantastic job of, is reaching out to those people, right? The number one story I hear all the time, and Alicia and I have talked about this a million times, but one of her first points of entry into the business side of the industry was through an E4 event. But that story is not unique to her, right? That happens across the industry all the time. Talk about some of the ways maybe that newcomers can come to a show like E4 and get their feet wet a little bit.
I think there's a couple of really important touch points. And I always like to make sure that we have some curriculum that is really kind of a fundamental pillar of the industry. And Tom Kerr, who's on our staff, he's conducting a needs analysis, which seems like a no-brainer, right? But it is an essential part of getting in and understanding what the client wants and starting the process of being that trusted advisor or continuing that process. So I think that is important. And then the other thing for a newcomer would be just to get to have a conversation with the manufacturers. I mean, sometimes these shows are so big, you just you get maybe a tour, but you can really start talking about like, what is this DV LED technology and where does it fit? Does it fit in a house of worship? Of course, we know it belongs in stadiums and retail, but how does this fit into the industry? And they can really have some meaningful conversations and introductions to people that can be there for them on the advisory side.
Well, look, and one of the things too that I'll add that I really, really love about E4, and this is one of the core 4 E's, right, is education. One of the things you guys do such an incredible job of is not only educating from from a CTS certification standpoint, but general industry thought leadership and conversations, right? Not only DEI, but even beyond that, right? We're talking about verticalized specifics. We're talking about best practices and methods in new technologies, things like that. What are some of the thought leadership sessions and equity sessions that we can expect this year at the shows?
So one of the courses that is going to be taught by another local, Tom Stimson, he's going to be talking about the marketplace and what's happening from a supply chain standpoint, different points of view with the integrator's business. And Tom's been a business consultant for many, many years, a wealth of information, a former Avixa president. And I just love that perspective that he brings from the business owner standpoint. And then on the opposite end, we have Gary Case talking about 8 new technologies that, he observed at ISE, what effect they're going to have on the industry. So then we're going to go from kind of business principles over to product and technology. And then, like I was saying, Tom Kerr is going to be talking more about kind of the fundamentals of needs analysis and, do you need a control system anymore? I don't, do you? Maybe not, So there's a lot of different topics that are going to be covered throughout the event that really go the gamut of from business principles, technology, and looking at how those principles apply to business.
Well, look, one of the things too that I'll add about those conversations, right, is even though so many of them are happening on a national and international level, there are kind of region specific conversations, right? Maybe in the Bible Belt, there's more house of worship conversations, and maybe on the coast, there's a lot more entertainment venue discussions and things like that. So it gives you the opportunity to be flexible and have those conversations. And kind of the last thing that I'll mention here, and this is, if you ever hear kickback about regional shows, it tends to be, oh, well, I still want to have a presence at Infocom or ISE or CEDIA or whatever. And one of the things that you guys do an incredible job of is finding that balance of, yes, we have our regional audiences, we have our regional shows, which are very successful, but we also still make it a point to attend and exhibit and throw the best parties at the biggest shows as well. How do you find the balance there?
Well, the E4 has been just a pillar of our business model here at Almo and now Exertus Almo. And we really want to meet people where they are. Like you said, not everybody can get to an Infocom or an ISE. So we have always been of the opinion that, we want to provide free, high quality education for the industry. And thanks to our partners and partnerships with people like Avixa on the CTS side and other organizations, that's really one of the things that we have from day one, we have wanted to do is meet people where they are, bring the products, bring the technology. And, if you ask any manufacturer about regional shows, and I dare say they will tell you that, E4 is one of those that they'll back the truck up for. Like, they'll bring the product, they'll bring the LED wall, they'll bring the new short throw projector. I mean, it's really a golden opportunity for them to be able to talk to people about the local market, like what is happening with house of worship, and how do we meet those needs and emerging needs of streaming and different things that the market is expressing to us. So I'm always just amazed at the participation and the people, and even the savvy resellers have really caught on to this trend, and they're bringing their end users with them to the show. Because to me, and to some of the integrators that I've spoken to, it's more than just a regional show. It's a business proposition for them, right?
Right.
It can be their showroom for the day through their partnership with Exertus Almo and these other manufacturers. Look at everything I can offer to you. So that's been an emerging trend that I've seen over the past couple of years, Ben, that has really been impactful in the integrator's business.
Well, look, it's a great place to do business across the board, right? If you're in the industry, even tangentially, it's an incredible place to go learn. Obviously, those of us salty dogs still love to show up and kind of hit the trade show floor like we used to in the good old days. But look, there's a lot of different options. There's a lot of incredible learning opportunities. Look, March 7th in Dallas. What are the rest of the dates for the shows this year?
Oh, we are going to be, got my little notes here. We are going to be in Santa Clara, California. That's going to be on April 25th. Teaneck, New Jersey, which is your New York metro area, that's going to be on September 20th. And a brand new market this year, Ben, is going to be Phoenix, and we're going to be there on October 18th. So excited to bring the show to a brand new location. We feel that there's a big opportunity there in that market, and have a lot of our reseller partners there. So that's going to be fun.
I'm glad you decided to do Phoenix in the fall. Summer Phoenix would not have been a good idea. So proactively, I would like to thank you for the attendees of that show. But look, Melody, always a big fan of what's happening, not only at Exertus Almo, obviously, but at the E4 show as well. Really one of the cornerstone events for the year of anybody inside the industry. And I appreciate you coming on the show again today. I'll be out there for sure, at least a couple of them. And I appreciate you hopping on today.
Yeah, thank you. And just as a reminder to your viewers, thanks to our partners, it's completely free. Everything, the education, breakfast, lunch, parking, everything is compliments of Exertismo and sponsors. So e4experience.com, register and take that time for you to do something for you, for your professional development. And, that's the other part of this show is that you may not be able to get away for 4 or 5 days, but one day, yeah, take the time for you.
Well, thank you, Melody. Great words. And thank you guys for watching at home. We appreciate you. Hope to see you soon.